What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of MMA Breakdown. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about women's MMA in the UFC. And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And is it a bad thing that Ronda Rousey is going to be headlining a main event at one of the UFCs coming up, I think, in February? And to be honest, I'm going to break it down and tell you why I think it's a bad idea. For one, everybody wanted the Cyborg versus Ronda Rousey fight to happen, and that fight looks like it's not going to happen. And one thing is, I think they're jumping the gun by putting Ronda Rousey in a title headlining fight, because a lot of people, the average consumer, the average fan, the person who doesn't really watch MMA all that often, isn't going to know who Ronda Rousey is, or don't even know who the women's MMA is. And that is true, because I was watching UFC on Fox this past Saturday night. Nick Diaz was fighting, and they started talking about Ronda Rousey, and my dad walked in the house and looked at the TV and goes, "What, she's a fighter? Do they have women?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I pulled out my iPad, and I looked up a video, and it showed her actually like a highlight video. He's like, "Wow, women do fight mixed martial arts." And I was like, "Yeah, they do." But for the casual fan and just the average person who doesn't watch combat sports like boxing or MMA or kickboxing, they're not going to know. And I said, "She used to fight for Strikeforce." He goes, what was Strikeforce? I said, "Well, technically Strikeforce was pretty much like the UFC. It's another brand of MMA." And put it this way, guys, I don't think women's MMA will ever be as popular as the men. That's just how women's sports is. No one cares about the WNBA, but I think for a casual fan or somebody who doesn't know what women's MMA is, we'll be flipping the dial and see Ronda Rousey kicking somebody's ass, and we'll be like, "Oh my God, that's intriguing." I really do, because guys do love hot women fighting, but to be honest, will it ever be as popular as the men? I highly doubt that. And I said, because Strikeforce, basically, they're closing their doors. She became the UFC champion, and he's like, "That's stupid. They should have a tournament style and not just give someone a title shot if they're moving to another company." And I said, "Yeah, pretty much that's what I feel. I feel they should build this chick up from the ground up, make like a Ultimate Fighter reality show, just all women's division. It would help grow the sport of women's MMA, because here's my thing. If you put Ronda Rousey in a mixed martial arts title fight in the UFC, and you basically, what should I say, have her and she loses, then your whole women's division is screwed, because the only person I know in women's MMA right now today is Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. That's all I know. I don't know any of these other people, or Cyborg, to be honest, but most of these women in mixed martial arts I have never heard of, and to be honest, there's no big outlet for women's MMA, and I don't want to see it go the same way as Gina Carano after she lost against Cyborg. Basically, women's MMA, until Ronda Rousey came around, was like this, was on a decline, because there was really no big fights. One of those girls who can talk shit, back it up, winning by armbar. So let me know if you think I'm in the right by saying what I'm saying, or if I'm in the wrong, but I honestly think I'm in the right by saying they're jumping the gun, because a lot of people don't know women's MMA, and even if you're a casual fan or not a fan of MMA in general, you're just going to turn on TV and see women fighting. Go, "What the hell is this?" Because, like I said, people like my dad, my brother, my sister-in-law, who don't watch MMA, they don't even know women's division even exists. So is it a good thing just to throw them out in the main event, or is it better to have them fight on free TV and make a reality show about it on like the Ultimate Fighter, and build these women up? That would be the best way to implement women's MMA into the UFC. So let me know if Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate, all these fighters that are going to be pretty much fighting in the UFC, should they have made it a reality show like the Ultimate Fighter, just all women, and build it up that way, instead of just jumping the gun and giving Ronda Rousey the title and saying you're going to fight at a main event? Because honestly, a lot of people are going to see commercials for the main event, and they're not willing to spend $45 on a main event for just women. I don't think that's going to be a big selling card. I think if you put Ronda Rousey on like a Fox card or a FX card, that would do more, because it would grow the sport of women's MMA, because women's MMA isn't that big yet. Like I said earlier in this video, you don't have the casual fan doesn't know women's MMA exists, because they're not as well known as the Brock Lesnar's, the Shane Carwins, the Nick and Nate Diaz's. They're not. Ronda Rousey is a big star for hardcore fans. For a casual fan who might see her walk down the street, they're not going to know that's a MMA fighter. Should have went like a tournament style, where you had like the old UFC and the old Pride, where you'd have a guy fight 3 or 4 times, and then after he beat all those guys, he wins a title. So I would love to hear what you guys got to say in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.